So let's talk about anger. How do we stay out of anger? My name is Joyce Odidison at Interpersonal Wellness Services Inc. And today I want us to talk about how we define anger. Most times, clients come to me and they say, Joyce, I have an anger problem because I get angry and I just lose it. So the first thing I say is let's talk about anger. When I wrote my fifth book, which is called Hurt, Upset, Angry, Frustrated, I wanted to give my readers an opportunity to understand how anger can change their reality and affect their relationships. And one of the first things we talk about is when do we get angry? Because we can get angry with someone for just about anything. It all depends on how we perceive the situation. So, anger often is me feeling that I am not in control of what's going on. It's my way of my body reacting to what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm facing, what I'm encountering. Actually, anger is a primary emotion. It's designed to give us that fight or flight energy we need to either run away or fight. And so often when we feel angry or we're experiencing anger, we feel stronger. We feel, ooh, I feel enraged. You feel that flush of emotion and adrenaline because what often happens is that when we're angry, the blood flow to our brain stops and it goes to our muscles. So now I have all this adrenaline, this energy, and I feel I can take on that person. The other day, I was actually attending an event, and one of the family members said, look, we're celebrating my brother. He's such an amazing person. But when he gets angry, he will take on anyone. And he was sharing a joke of this guy. His brother is a very tiny person. He's maybe 5'4" and very, very slender. And when he got angry, he wanted to take on somebody who was 6 feet and hundreds of pounds. And so it's almost people become irrational. And that is why, because that blood flow in your brain that says, hey, maybe I can't take on that person. Maybe that person is too big and might crush me, or I don't have the physical strength to. We don't think when we're feeling high rates of anger. We just act because we feel stronger. And there are times that because of anger, people can do certain things, right? We can defend ourselves, we can run faster because there's a lot more adrenaline flowing, right? We have more cortisol running through our system and our body secreting the hormones for fight and flight. So that gives us the ability to do things that we wouldn't normally do if we were not in the state of anger. This is why it is so important for us to pay attention to why we feel anger. So, what might make me feel angry may be very different from what makes you feel angry. And it's important to know what that is and recognize. And nobody just goes from be nicer and then angry, right? We all have physical things that happen in our body that alerts us that we're becoming angry. We might feel a tightening in our shoulders or in our chest. Our breathing may start to get more rapid. I remember growing up with an older brother who had severe anger issues. And when he get angry, he does not remember what he's doing, and he would get very angry, and he would you could be violent, and he would say things, and then he would become very remorseful after. and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And it was very embarrassing. It was really an up and down way that he lived his life, and it was very stressful. I often felt very sorry for him when we were growing up, and he would have that. And as he grew older, the expectation was he would learn to manage it. And sometimes we expect people to learn to manage anger on their own without providing them with the support. People need support. Nobody can change a behavior that is destructive on their own without the right coaching, the right support, the right encouragement, and the tools and competencies. This is why at our business, at Interpersonal Wellness Services Inc., we promote the well-being intelligence competencies. We teach a range of competencies that allow you to develop the skills and the awareness. You see, the thing about intelligence is that we don't just have information, but we know how and when to apply it. And that's why we focus on well being intelligence. Because when we get angry and we lose our balance and we become frustrated with others, then we become embarrassed, and the stress and anxiety and the overexertion on our nerves and our body is in itself a challenge. So we're not in that place of well-being. When you're in that place of violent anger, you're not in that place of well-being. And so one of the things we want to do with well-being intelligence is to teach the skills and the competencies. So we have skills, but competencies now become part of our repertoire. You can forget your skills if you're not using them, but when you have a competency, it becomes part of who you are. It actually becomes, you develop those neural pathways, and you're able to, just like when you learn to tie your shoe as a little kid, you never forget how to tie your shoe, or ride a bike. You never forget how to ride a bike because you've developed competencies. You're not just skilled in it, you have those competencies. And so it's important for us to develop competencies in our life so we can live well. Those skills that we need, those life skills and competencies, so we can have a favorable life, so we can have more positive impact. That's the key to living well and doing things well in our life. And that's why we're looking at providing you with a range of well-being competencies to do that. And for anger, we focus on self-mastery as the well-being intelligence competencies to develop. So with self-mastery, we get to identify our own sense of our body, understanding our feeling, our breath, our actions, our muscles, right? When we are out of breath, or we get angry, or we get, red in the face, and, we get tense and we start exerting ourselves. Those are all things, physical cues we can see. And the intelligence we've developed tells us, okay, maybe it's time for a timeout. Maybe it's time to do some deep breathing. Maybe it's time to remove myself from the situation. Maybe it's time to get help and get the right support, maybe counseling or therapy, to help me to be successful in my life in this particular instance, because I need what we call the well-being intelligence competencies that will allow me to execute in my life in a much more sophisticated way, but also to be more professional and to reduce my own personal stress and wear and tear on my body. So my name is Joyce Odidison. You can visit us at interpersonalwellness.com, where we talk about strategies to develop well-being intelligence competencies. And we give you a range of competencies that you can develop. Each month, we focus on developing one competency, and we look at all the different applications of that, because our goal, of course, is to develop intelligence, that well-being intelligence, and the competencies that's included in that, so we can work, live, and play well. So yes, again, join us at interpersonalwellness.com and learn more about the well-being competencies, and of course, anger is one of the skills and one of the elements we look at in self-mastery, which is the emotional well-being and that competency around managing anger and recognizing and responding to anger favorably. Again, join me interpersonalwellness.com on this YouTube channel and look out for a workbook that's coming with tips and strategies on developing those well-being intelligence competencies. Take care now. Bye. I'll see you in the next recording. Bye.